A couple of months ago, I was on my way to the States. I was at the Tel Aviv airport, and I was speaking to the woman sitting next to me. She and her husband had come to volunteer. And I said to her, I cry every single day since October 7th. Out of joy, out of grief, most days out of both. I said to her, I'm amazed that L'Oreal hasn't taken this opportunity to develop a new mascara. Can you imagine? We have all these people here. And she looked at me and she said, I'm the director of research for L'Oreal. I said, right. She said, no, I really am. I said, wow. Okay, so we had another interesting discussion. But the reality here is, and the only word that I found that describes it is a Hebrew word, and this conference will be a success when it's held in Hebrew. And that is, I think, also a major, major difficulty for people who want to make Aliyah, is that they do not know Hebrew. I don't want to get into a whole discussion about Jewish education in America. I'm just talking about Hebrew and the real lack of being able to speak it fluently. This the Europeans have nailed, and other people have. American Jews tend to not really know Hebrew. And that is a very important thing. We should all be able to read Makor Rishon or whatever newspaper of choice it is and be able to converse and feel at home in this country. That would make it much easier for them. But the word that I've been using to describe the last few months is hazui, which I suppose the closest definition is surreal. I looked around when Ari talked to me about this conference, and I thought to myself, to some degree, and I hope I don't offend anybody, but if I do, it won't be the first or last time that I do that. I seem to be spending a lot of my time doing that these days because I feel like I'm out of time to go through the motions, is that this conference to some degree is a projection of our reality here. I'm not saying, isn't it marvelous that the campuses have all exploded across America, but it has allowed us to some degree to be distracted from what's happening here in Israel, because we are living in an emergency situation right now. And it is so frightening and so exhilarating at the same time that there are no words for it in any language whatsoever. If you were here in Israel 2 weeks ago, it was like the miracle of Kriyat Yam Suf when Iran shot all those missiles at us, and not one, the little Arab girl in the Negev was hurt. If that isn't a nes galui, then we need to, and I hope everyone knows what that means because I'm not translating that. Those of us who get to live here are living at one of the most exciting moments in Jewish history, period. And that means that it's incredibly frightening because crises offer opportunity. And everything that everybody said here is right, from the appalling lack of vision of our government, and I could do worse, but I've started to buy soap that's actually edible because there are days where I realize I do need to wash my mouth out because sometimes there are really no words other than those that I would get upset with my children for saying. But there is a lot of room here for improvement, and that's where we roll, and that's where we shine as a people. And I'm going to emphasize that as a people. This is not a group of individuals who just doesn't eat pork. Okay, from the very, very, very beginning, this was a people thing. And what that means is that some magnificent people pay the price for all of us, and some people who you actually wouldn't want married into your family look like they're rocking and rolling. And we have to understand that. But we are speaking to a Western world that's all about individualism. And we're not talking to them. We're not saying to them, listen, guys, this may actually not be the best thing for you personally, but for the Jewish people and for your little tribe and for your family, this sure as heck is. All right, when I made Aliyah, I had 3 small children. I came when I was 8 years old, not religious. My father actually is a Palestinian. He's a Jewish Palestinian who would consider himself an anti-Semite. He thinks the Jews bring it upon ourselves. Everything was stacked up against me to come here. And at age 8, I came here and I just felt like my soul belonged here. That's not something I can explain to somebody else. You either feel that or you don't. Everybody's going to have their own experience. But if we don't understand that this is about a really, really, really big picture that stretches back thousands of years and God willing will go into eternity, then we are not talking to them the truth. And we need to be speaking the truth. And the truth is not simple. And what the left has done, and I know Simone Zimmerman, who is one of the people who founded that whole scenario of you lied to me. You know what, people? She's not wrong. She was given the fuzzy version of Israel, where everybody's running around in a Kova temple and eating oranges and everything is just perfect. It's not. Am I the only person here whose children are not perfect? Okay, we all have issues in our lives. Being Jewish is a major issue. Israel is a major issue. It is flawed. I could sit here and tell you for hours and hours how flawed it is and how many things that I've done over the years, some successfully, some, as Yishai knows, and Avi Below know, because they were with me in the summer of 2005 when we moved down to Gush Katif and tried to stop a travesty that has cost so many lives. And we tried hard and we failed, but we tried. And that's what we have to impress on our co-religionists in America and in France and everywhere else. You need to try. This is a religion of personal responsibility and national effort. And if you don't understand that, then you have missed something critical about what it means to be Jewish. And the only place that you can play that out, and because of God's amazing grace, we have the opportunity to do it again, is here. I stood on Mount Gerizim on Thursday. I guided a group up there. We stood up and we redid the covenant at Sinai, because you stand on Har Gerizim and you talk about the blessings and curses that Joshua tells everybody when we come in, and it's the redo of Har Sinai, and it's in Eretz Yisrael. It is a 3D book here. And I'm sorry, but if you're practicing Judaism outside of Israel, you're playing a piano that's not making music. So you think you're hitting all the right keys, but no, there's no sound. This is where it's at. And is it going to be easy? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is possibly going to be one of the most difficult things that you ever did, is move to this little sliver, and the most rewarding. And at the end of whatever days we have, to be able to stand in front of Hashem or whoever and be able to say, I gave it 120%. That goes a long, long way. So I don't want to beg people to make Aliyah. I don't believe it's Kristallnacht, or they would be having the emergency Aliyah Conference and not us, all right? We need to say this is a privilege in the sense that, remember what privilege used to mean? Not like white man, rich white Jewish man, which is now it's turned to mean. This is a tremendous privilege. And if you can't see that, then we're going to try and help you to see it. And unfortunately, the anti-Semites always make us see that over history. It's kind of sad. But we're here, and we need help. This is not a done deal. A lot of things have to be improved here, okay? Again, we're talking about leadership. We're talking about a Judaism that maybe needs to be a bit rejuvenated to fit the times that we're in. And that means that you can be a part of it. How exciting is that, not to sit on the sidelines, but to be a part of shaping Judaism and our future? Is there anything more exciting than that? And frightening. And it's a big job. And no one's going to guarantee you anything. But this, ladies and gentlemen, this is the real deal. This is where we've come to after all these years. And if you still consider yourself Jewish, after 3,500 years of oppression and Nazis and all these burning in hell people, then you have a role to play. It's not just an accident. And you need to take that role and take it seriously. And this is where it's playing out. We need you and you need us. Okay, is there anything greater than that?
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Eve.